Whenever the words superhero or comic books come up in film and television discussions, oversaturation and fatigue usually follow. Marvel Television has been especially busy, with a large output this year alone: The Defenders, Inhumans, The Punisher, Runaways. But it was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that started it all for Marvel TV, and with transmedia mega franchises continuing to expand at an exponential rate, the ABC series is often forgotten as the progenitor of Marvel's live-action slate. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which was nearing cancellation at the end of its 4th season, is about to begin season 5 and reach a landmark 100 episodes. Here's why you should care about it.OK. So the show was bad at first. There's a moment in its second ever episode, 084, where the day is saved during the climax when an inflatable raft closes off a massive hole in the bus, our team's aircraft carrier HQ. I knew from there that as an MCU devotee, this show might be a chore to watch. It felt like an American version of early Torchwood or a wannabe Firefly, but Phil Coulson's team and the bus couldn't hold a candle to Malcolm Reynolds' crew and the Serenity. Melinda May, Ming-Na Wen, was stoic. Grant Ward, Brett Dalton, was the walking embodiment of blandness. Surrogate newbie Sky, Chloe Bennett, was annoying and unbearable, and Fitz-Simmons, Ian DeCascaca and Elizabeth Henstridge, respectively, and their accents were incomprehensible. It didn't help that many of the early episodes felt like advertisements for the MCU films. You couldn't go 10 minutes without Tony Stark, Natasha Romanoff or Asgard being name-dropped. That unfortunate second episode even deployed Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury in an attempt to vitalize the show with some star power.A heavily advertised time to Thor: The Dark World was a 5-minute cold open on the S. H.I.E.L.D.team cleaning up debris after the film's final confrontation.Despite some exceptional early episodes, the Fitz-Simmons-centric FZZT being a character-focused highlight, the show felt like nothing more than excessive, supplementary material to the movies. The early days of the show were marked by an over-dependence on MCU film references, but the all-important Captain America, the Winter Soldier acted as a trampoline to bring Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to new heights. The fall of the S.H.I.E.L.D. organization in the films provided ample creative opportunities for the show, even though one would think the opposite would happen when the show's namesake was shuttered. S.H.I.E.L.D. viewers were blindsided when it was revealed that Grant Ward was a Hydra double agent. A main character who earned the trust of not only his teammates, but also likely the viewers, was not who he appeared to be. At the time, a twist like this felt Sixth Sense level.Lesser-skilled writers would have messed this up eventually. A reset button of some sort, a hackneyed redemption arc, something had to go wrong. But the show not only stuck with this, it went further. The once bland Ward became truly evil, unemotionally troubled and downright sadistic antagonist. As what developed, so did the series. The stakes were larger, and the agent's world became smaller. With the situation now dire for the characters, the tone was significantly less optimistic, and enshrouded in paranoia and darkness. The format became less monster of the day, and more serialized. What felt like a chore suddenly became must-watch television for me. And unlike M. Night Shyamalan's filmography, the plot twists to come still shocked and odd. There were no diminishing returns on suspense. The expanding cast of characters, storylines and other concepts that the show introduced allowed S.H.I.E.L.D. to have its own mythology branch off from the rest of the MCU, even though times occasionally came near a film's release. By the end of Season 1, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. finally had its own identity. Something clicked with me during Season 2, these are actually very good actors. At the beginning of the season, Ward is held captive by Coulson's team, unbeknownst to several agents. Fitz, brain damaged at the end of Season 1 as a result of Ward's actions, accidentally stumbles upon his cell. Watching Natasha Romanoff, who had a successful acting career in the U.K. before joining S.H.I.E.L.D. acting out a panic attack as Fitz is absolutely heartbreaking, especially with a Hannibal Lecter-esque Ward looming in the background. The Casper is a highlight week after week, and he truly deserves a bigger Hollywood career after S.H.I.E.L.D. wraps up. That's not to forget the other cast members, all of whom can act circles around many of the performers you see in the CW's Arrowverse. Greg is always reliable as Coulson, but the rest of the cast finally receives material worth their time, with a tragic backstory fleshing out May Simmons proving herself on the field, leading to an excellent bottle episode in Season 3, and Daisy Johnson, discovering a quite inhuman secret about herself. New blood in the form of Nick Blood as Hunter and Adrian Barlitsky as Bobby Mockingbird Morse added some much-needed energy to the show. And finally, Henry Simmons, introduced a voice of reason to the team, and at this point in the series has become the program's emotional center. The series has also made excellent use of guest stars, from Bill Paxton to Kyle MacLachlan to Powers Boothe. S.H.I.E.L.D. leveraged its guests' acting chops to bring fun and interesting characters that drove the series' improving storylines. No matter your thoughts on the show, watching MacLachlan hand it up as Cal is a joy to watch. And while the network television budget might lead to less impressive results than the films, or even something like the famous hallway fight scene in Netflix's Daredevil, the thrilling action we come to expect from the MCU is still present. Season 2 marked a significant improvement, including complex action scenes that found May in a brutal fight with an identical look-alike, or Daisy dispatching Hydra babies in a John Wick-like one take. In the same episode, the agents sacrificed the bus in a glorious CGI sequence, and with the old, familiar base obliterated, so was the show's mediocre past. Last season, the writers found a groove with a new format. The season was divided into 3 pods, essentially mini-seasons with their own high-concept premises. The 22-episode season became more bearable by having distinct storylines, each more satisfying than the previous one. The term organic is often derided by fans of Arrow, mocking the CW show's attempts at pairing Oliver Queen and Felicity Smoke, but it's a term that applies unironically to Fitz-Simmons. S.H.I.E.L.D. is a show that convinces its audience that these characters must be together, with the characters acting naturally rather than the writers giving into Tumblr fandom discourse. Devoid of melodrama and cliched will-they/won't-they rhythms, the show plays with viewers' heartstrings not by making the characters act irrationally, but by having the plot create obstacles in their relationship. And even with its setting in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the show has continued on with its own mythology, allowing only passing or subtle references to films and other eras. Instead of name-dropping Stephen Strange, we see a similar sling ring portal effect as in the Doctor Strange movie, one that actually has an essential role in the episode's plot. No cheeky references, no breaking Sam Jackson out of a glass case for emergency, just pureness. S.H.I.E.L.D. the second pod finale episode Self-Control, the first episode directed by co-showrunner Jed Whedon, is one of my favorite episodes of television ever. It has everything that I've come to love about the show: darkness, suspense, rational character choices, lack of unnecessary MCU references, the subversion of expectations, impressive and explosive action and worthy performances. A crucial Fitz-Simmons scene in the middle will have you covering your eyes in terror and despair, and one Daisy action sequence aims for movie quality. Even the last couple of minutes kept dropping new twists that had me and my fellow S.H.I.E.L.D. fan sister screaming at the television in shock to the end credits. This was the setup to the third pod, a virtual reality world that presented twisted what-if scenarios for the characters. In the following episodes, as some Arrowverse fans might admit, S.H.I.E.L.D. did Flashpoint much better than The Flash. Admittedly, with 4 full seasons of 22 episodes each, catching up with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. H.I.E.L.D. is a daunting task, but I'm suggesting that you consider doing it anyway. Fans would probably tell outsiders to start with the Winter Soldier tie-in, but by skipping to such a late stage risks missing out on the satisfaction of the growing mythology and the evolution of both the characters and the storytelling. and at least for now, all 4 seasons are on Netflix for your binging pleasure. It certainly works as a palate cleanser for those left bitter by subpar superhero television shows of late. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is an anomaly. What began as a commercial for action films eventually came to justify its own existence. It's a TV series that I really believe in. One might think that it's primarily for MCU diehards, but watching S.H.I.E.L.D. constantly reinvent itself and improve every season, makes it a sight to see for all. Season 5 of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. premieres tonight at 8 p.m. on ABC. Chris Compagno is a taste intern, Nintendo fan and MCU enthusiast. You can find his work elsewhere on MCU Exchange, https://mecoexchange.com/screenrant, https://screenrant.